This is Watching with Wayne.
Welcome into another episode of Watching with Wayne. I'm your host, Clayton McMahon, here with the usual crew, Lydia Ruel, Logan Salzbrenner, Hannah Grace. We have a lot to talk about today.
Yes, we do.
Pretty much just Oscar recap, new Spider-Man trailer drop. I think that's pretty much it. Is there anything else that you guys can?
He wishes that would be it. He doesn't want to talk about Survivor because if you've been following along, you may remember that when we first got our standings after the first week, Clayton was roasting everyone, but particularly me, because Clayton was not even in first place, might I add, but he was ahead of me, Lydia, and Hannah. And Hannah, Lydia, and I were all in last place. The last places. Now, Hannah still is in last place.
Hey, sitting pretty.
Now, Lydia and I are both ahead of Clayton, and
Yes.
Clayton didn't want us to talk about these standings today, but of course we're going to.
You have to scroll to see
Yes.
Clayton on the rankings here.
Oh.
Because like
There
a
we go.
phoenix, I have risen from the ashes.
Oh, wow.
I have catapulted from last place to third place, and actually, Lydia is now in fourth place.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Clayton, if you can look all the way down to
Yeah.
seventh place, that's where you see
Only
Clayton.
3 points behind Lydia, only 5 points behind Logan. So, yeah, we have it pulled up
That's
here.
quite a bit.
Mind you, when
So, yeah,
I
it was-
said I was only 5 points behind Clayton, the first time we got our scores, Clayton was like, yeah, well, still way behind me.
Well,
So,
I mean, if you're
roasting
not
us.
first, you're last, really. So, basically, Shane's the one that's on top. But
The sitting champion. I mean, Shane has not moved from number one.
Well,
He did
Shane's
lose
gonna
one of his
start.
people,
Yeah,
though.
Shane's gonna start really losing some points because these are gonna when the spoilers are gonna start. If
Oh,
you've
yeah.
not watched the
Oh,
Survivor
yeah.
episode from this last week, but Q got voted out, and that was one of Shane's people. So Shane, luckily for us, is going to start losing some points because Shane has been killing all of us.
But also, justice for Q. I did not
Yes.
want him to leave.
Justice for Q. He did not deserve to go, but
No.
we'll get into all of that
Yeah.
when we get into our recap. But yeah, we wanted to make sure we talked about our standings because Clayton didn't want us to. But
well, I mean, I don't know how many episodes do you think are on a season roughly? I don't know if this episode or this season will be different because it's the 50th.
well,
But if
I
you
can't remember how many they started with. 24.
okay,
I mean,
so I
we'll
mean,
have
imagine if
24
I had just ran
players.
away with the standings in week 3.
There must be
Like that wouldn't have been very fun at all.
There must be like 20
So,
episodes at least.
20 episodes.
Because
Okay.
there's like 24 of them, and
so
there's like the final 5 is in the last episode.
Yeah,
and
so-
that, like, wraps them up.
I had to make it competitive, and we have a show here. We're
Oh,
talking about
please.
Survivor every week.
Please.
I mean,
Excuses.
Please.
come on.
And of course, this
the
last
audience
week,
wants it.
it took so long for the scores to update.
Yeah.
And Clayton was sitting there like, I can't believe the scores are updating. Like, I could tell he was like a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
And then finally they came in and Clayton was like, well, guys, I'm going to head out for the night.
Well, I really no. Well,
and he actually did have to go.
I would say genuinely, it was like right when I was about to leave for the day. It was at like 4:00, and so
What a
And
coincidence.
Lydia was like, Logan, come look at the
Yes,
standings. And I was like, yes. Not because I really, I'm a pretty humble person.
Mhm.
You don't know me in my regular life, but I was just so
Regular
glad
life.
to be ahead of Clayton specifically because
Okay.
he was
a
so
big
glad
deal.
to be ahead of me before.
Yeah.
So,
well, like I said, long way to go, long way to go. But well, yeah. Why don't we get into if you want to, Logan, kind of the episode recap, what was going on, and looking forward to episode 4, which is airing tonight. We're recording this Wednesday, March 18th.
well, Hannah, did you watch the episode?
Yeah. I don't remember it.
You
anymore.
did?
Okay, you did?
Oh.
I did. I
So
watched
you've seen
it.
more than me now.
Clayton,
Okay,
you didn't
okay.
watch it again?
Although I did think, I thought, I asked Lydia about 15 minutes ago. I was like, what episode are we on? I thought I missed one.
Yeah, tonight will be episode 4.
Mhm.
This is episode 3.
We're good. We're good.
So the big thing of this episode was a tribe swap, which we started with right away. And of course, there was a lot of scrambling on the beaches before they went there. And one big thing was that, of course, everyone's trying to get information to each other before they get swapped. And so right before they switch their tribes, Christian whispers to Emily, Aubrey has an idol. It's a Billy Eilish boomerang idol. And so Emily's like, what? And she's like, why is he telling me last minute? Which, this was sort of dumb of Emily, because I'm like, if he didn't want you to know, why would he have told you last minute? Like, he just wouldn't have told you. And then they get their tribe switched, And these tribe swaps were very interesting. Some people, of course, got very lucky with the tribe swap. Some people got very unlucky. And this is a very early tribe swap. Like, you guys were asking me, like, do they usually do this so early? And no, they don't usually do it this early. Like, usually they have to be down to, like, 3 or 4 players, and then they'll switch it up. But you could vote this season. The fans could vote for stuff. And you can vote for if you wanted them to, like, switch. I can't remember how often it was, but it must be, like, every time 3 players go, they're going to maybe swap every time. And, of course, during it, Charlie's, like, complaining. He's like, man, I can't believe, like, I hate the fans for doing this. And Christian's like, Charlie, did you vote for a tribe swap? And Charlie's like, yeah, I did. Because Charlie is, like, a super fan of Survivor. Like, he watched all of his life and stuff before he played. So they swap, and on one tribe, which is a tribe Emily and Christian end up on, we also end up with a very interesting group of people, which are Angelina, Mike White, and Christian. And for people who have not watched Survivor before, they were all on the same season together, which was David versus Goliath. And actually, Angelina and Mike White were both in the final 3 together, and they both worked together to vote out Christian. He was, like, a huge threat on his season because he's very smart, as you can probably tell from this season. So it's just interesting that it all ended up together on their tribe together because they have a lot of history. And, of course, Emily starts telling everyone everything the minute they hit the beach. She immediately tells Q and Stephanie about, like, Christian telling her about Aubrey's idol. And then she has a great quote where she goes up to Christian. She's like, I've made a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
And starts telling him that she's pretty much told everyone everything. And then later on, she also tells Angelina that her tribe was going to vote her out before. And so it was a good, like, editing moment where they're sort of showing how everyone, like, freaks out when they get swapped because you don't know who you're playing with as much. And then, of course, Genevieve and Aubrey are still on the same tribe. They're still beefing with each other. They still don't like each other. And then Tiff and Aubrey sort of, like, align with each other, and Tiffany tells Aubrey that Genevieve is, like, telling everyone to vote for her. So if they go to tribal tonight, that'll be very interesting. We'll see if Aubrey, who's Hannah's person, plays her idol tonight.
If she gets voted out with an idol, I'm going to be so mad.
I still don't understand how that works, really. But
You have to play it. So you could go home with an idol.
But doesn't Jeff, like, say before the voting starts, like, if you have something, like, use it now?
So what happens
that's
is
you.
they will all vote, and before he reads the votes,
Oh.
he will say,
Okay.
if you have an advantage or an idol and you want to play it, now would be the time to do so.
So
So
they
if
can't change their votes before.
So if she plays
makes
it, but
sense,
she
yeah.
doesn't
Yeah, yeah.
get voted out, then she just kind of wasted
Yeah.
the idol.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So it's a
There's been,
risk
like,
either
games.
way.
Yeah.
Got it.
Because
Yeah.
there's been times where people have played their idols and they don't have a single vote for them. And there have been other times where people have gone out with idols in their pockets. And there actually has been seasons where people have gone home with multiple idols.
Ooh.
Because there was a season where
brutal.
someone was voted out with 2 idols. Because he had no idea they were voting for him.
Oh,
And that was brutal.
Mhm.
So I think Aubrey will play her idol, though, because she pretty much already knows everyone's gunning for her.
Mhm.
So Genevieve might be in trouble. But don't change your voting, though, if you
I just
already
voted before we
for your
started.
Good.
Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna do
No,
that.
no. But we'll see.
He's a troublemaker.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of history between Christian, Angelina, and Mike White too, so it'll be, like, exciting that they're on the same tribe. And then the other big things that happened on our other tribe, we have Joe, Coach, and Colby, all of, like, the honor guys who I think probably had a preseason alliance. There's a lot of talk online that, like, they made an alliance before the season started,
Okay.
and that they also are planning to work with Jonathan and Stephanie, which I could definitely see, which annoys me, but it's really hard now to not have preseason alliances on these shows because they all know each other.
Mhm.
So that seems pretty likely to me. And then Chrissy seems like she started getting a redemption arc. Coach pulls her aside and is like, hey, you gotta, like, chill it out.
Yeah.
You're really getting on people's nerves. Which someone did on Coach's first season too, where he was, like, being really crazy. And someone was like, you gotta stop wearing feathers to tribal, man. You gotta stop doing, like, your crazy stuff. Because he was, like, way more eccentric on his first seasons than he is
Got it.
right now. We'll see if he ramps it up a little bit. And yeah, Rizzo triggered Charlie's PTSD from his season, where Rizzo asked Charlie in front of the whole tribe, he's like, hey, do you still talk to Maria? And I was telling you guys a little bit about that, where on Charlie's season, he lost by 1 vote. It was 5-3, and his number one ally, Maria, who they swore to each other if they made it to the end, they'd vote for each other. She didn't vote for him. I definitely think she was bitter she didn't make it to the end, and she didn't vote for him out of spite. And the third person there, Ben, said he would have voted for Charlie to win. So Charlie really probably lost $1 million because Maria didn't vote for him.
Ew.
So, and Rizzo asked him in front of everyone, and Charlie's like, no, I don't talk to her anymore. And then later on, Rizzo is like, oh, yeah, you know, Sophie was my number one, but I voted for Savannah at the end because I just wanted the best person to win. And Charlie's like, man, Rizzo's got to go. He's like, I need him to be voted out because Charlie's like, I'm not taking anyone to the end who's not going to vote out their number one person. Like, he's like, I want someone who's going to vote for their number one person. And sometimes that's, like, all it takes. Like, I was telling you guys, sometimes people get voted out for sort of dumb things. But this season, I think people are going to care a lot about the jury because it's all all-star people. So we'll see. Rizzo may not be here for very long if Charlie has his way. But I don't know. And then, of course, we go to Tribal. They all, except for Stephanie, decide to vote out Q. So sad for him. I personally want Angelina to go.
Yeah.
She just doesn't seem to do very much around camp. She doesn't seem like she's that much help in the challenges. Again, we're voting out our strongest people on our tribes, and then we wonder why we can't win challenges.
Exactly.
But
Justice for Q.
Justice for Q. I felt so bad for him.
Yeah.
He was playing a much better social game than he did on his first season. And he, like, really changed how he was playing compared to his first time, which I liked a lot. So I felt bad for him. But I think they all just want cameos on the White Lotus, so they don't want to make Mike quite mad.
That's so funny.
So when he was like, I want Q out, they're like, okay, we'll vote him out. So
That is so funny.
Mike is so messy.
he's so messy. He's so Hollywood.
We'll
he's
see who ends up on the next season of.
Yeah, we'll see who gets a cameo. I feel like maybe Christian will get one, or like Serene.
Oh, I would love to see like Ozzy or someone like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he would fit in.
Because Ozzy, no one even really is thinking about voting him out.
No.
And again,
I think
we've
he
got a
has the White
huge
Lotus look to
challenge.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, we've got Ozzy still a huge challenge beast, not even a thought.
I'm kind of shocked that, like, because Ozzy was one of the names that I knew going in to Survivor watching this season. And I am shocked that he doesn't have, maybe people are a little bit starstruck, like, it's the Ozzy.
Also, I don't know if it's, like, because they don't have Rice and Ozzy's, like, a provider. If they're, like,
he's
just
worth
keep him
keeping around.
Like,
and which might be, yes, we know Clayton. We know Clayton.
Ozzy.
You have Coach and Ozzy.
Just making sure.
Yeah, mind
Yeah.
you, Clayton was just complaining about his people last week when he dropped in the rankings. And I was like, Clayton, do you not have any loyalty to your people?
Right.
No.
No, I feel like if he was
Maybe
in
it's not even-
Survivor, he
I've
would,
got-
in the end, maybe not be voting for his number one.
Yeah, if Clayton and I were
Oh,
allies the whole
flip-floppy.
way and I made it to the end and he didn't, he would definitely not vote for me.
Survivor.
Right.
I'm trying to get that million.
Oh my gosh.
Any means necessary.
Clayton would definitely be a better jury member. He
Oh,
would definitely
yeah.
not vote for me.
Oh,
at the end.
yeah. And you know he'd go back to camp and he'd be like, he'd be stirring the pot. He'd be
Yeah,
like,
he would definitely
"Oh
be
my
in
gosh."
Ponderosa. Like, you cannot vote for Logan. Like,
Yeah,
she
he'd
was
be like-
talking bad about you. Like,
I
you
heard
shouldn't vote for her.
I heard Lydia say during tribal council that
Yeah, like she called
I
me
can
out,
see
like,
it
you shouldn't
now.
vote for her.
yeah. He'd be the quiet, sneaky one.
Yeah.
Or someone like me, I'd get voted out. They'd be like, Hannah said this, and I'd be like, what the heck? I don't know.
Yeah, no one would say you're the sneaky or quiet one. for
No,
sure.
I
No
wouldn't
one
make
would
it.
say-
I wouldn't make it far at all. And then Clayton would make it super far, and I'd be like, guys, I told you the whole time.
You might be the first vote out.
I
You
would.
might be the first
I'm the
two.
first one dead in a horror movie. We already established that, and I'm the first one voted out
For sure.
of Survivor. And thank goodness I don't want to
Yeah,
be
you
on
wouldn't
Survivor
wanna do
long.
it.
It wouldn't.
We
It's
talked
not my
about this
vibe.
on Morning Coffee. You really,
Yeah.
you're not built for like the elements and stuff.
No, Survivor is not my show.
That's not your show. Maybe
It
Big
is
Brother is better.
maybe like The Bachelorette.
Just an idea.
Just an idea if anyone's
The
listening.
the I-469 story wasn't a precursor
Oh
to
my
your...
gosh.
The,
The I-469 story. It smelled like pigs and there was a mouse.
And you're like freezing
That's
cold.
crazy.
That was good practice.
I was doing my mic check and I was like, mic check, mic check. It smells like pigs. Ew.
Q. Yeah, Justice for Q.
Yeah.
The Mike White effect worked on them. But yeah, then Q was like, just vote for me. And Mike was like, okay, well, like, I'll do it.
It's a crazy thing to say.
Yeah,
Like,
so
don't offer yourself up like that.
we'll see. We'll see how this episode goes tonight. I definitely think the David versus Goliath people though will end up turning on each other.
That's a
They're very
good TV drama.
weak. They also like Angelina and Christian have a lot of beef between each other, so I don't think that they will stick it out with each other. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see.
But yeah, good episode though.
Mhm.
I loved the tribe swap though because it's always so interesting to see who like crumbles under pressure.
Yeah.
Emily definitely did.
Oh my
immediately.
goodness.
And then
yeah.
Christian was just like, "Oh, it's okay." So it worked out, but
Yeah.
yeah, good episode though.
I had no idea what to expect, and
Mhm.
it was really funny.
yeah, like I said, episode 4 of the season airs tonight. Hopefully the standings will update first thing in the morning. One thing I forgot to mention is I came in last Wednesday, and you're telling me, I forgot to vote, but,
Yeah.
but that I was still ahead in the standings.
Yeah.
And got me super excited. I was really happy.
I know. It didn't pop up on
Um,
my phone right away.
And then I look, and I'm like, man, these scores look pretty similar. And
Yeah.
sure enough, I hadn't updated. So
It didn't. So when I
only
logged
ruined my
into
day, so
our,
it's okay.
I'm so sorry. Maybe it's what you deserved. I don't know. When I checked it on my phone, I usually check it on Thursday mornings,
Mhm.
and there was like a little banner that said like, "Oh, we're still like
Mhm.
generating the new scores," but it didn't pop up right away. So I thought
Yeah.
they were still our scores. So I was like, oh, "No way, Clayton's still ahead of Logan." Turns out,
Nope.
Spoke too
Nope.
Just
soon.
for now, just for the cameras, for the audience. Speaking of cameras and audiences, there were a ton of people watching the Oscars, the Academy Awards, 98th Academy Awards this past Sunday. Bunch of, I don't know, I guess it sounds like from what I've heard, there were some surprising wins, I guess, in a little bit. I know last week it didn't seem like we were talking about one battle after another very much, and ended up going on to win Best Picture.
Yeah.
We were talking about Jessie Buckley a lot in Hamnet, and she did end up
Yes.
taking Best Actress.
she did. We were
Um,
very excited for that.
Very.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan winning Best Actor in
So
Sinners.
glad about that.
Mhm.
Well deserved.
Best Supporting Actor Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, and then Best Actress in a Supporting Role was Amy Madigan in Weapons. I believe Best Actress was the only thing Hamnet won. Maybe like one other categories, because I know
I-
Frankenstein won a couple.
Yay, my guy Frankenstein.
So Frankenstein
did
won
win a
Best
couple.
Costume Design.
And best makeup,
Yes.
hair makeup,
Scrolling through the list now.
which very well deserved. The costumes, brilliant, absolutely
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, and also won Best
Jacob Elordi's
Production Design.
Makeup in that, stunning.
The production design was definitely
Mhm.
well deserved as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, Best Actress was the only thing Hamnet won.
Yeah,
So-
that sounds about right.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that was the one I mean, I am a Frankenstein girl through and through. I was very happy to see that they took home some awards. I do love Jacob Elordi, but I was not expecting him to win Best Supporting Actor. I was actually a little bit shocked that Sean Penn won, and then he was not there to accept his award, which was kind of funny.
Really?
But I was very happy that they won some awards. I was really, really rooting for Jessie Buckley
Yes.
to win Best Actress because her performance was phenomenal in Hamnet. It was
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. And she swept all the awards this season for that role. So,
So well deserved. I remember us
Yes.
saying in the theater, like, she better win all the big awards just to give her all the accolades for that performance. And she said Sunday was Mother's Day in the UK, so that was very fitting for the role that she played in Hamilton.
Yes, her acceptance speech was beautiful. And her husband, it was so sweet when they cut away to her husband. He was like so emotional, and it was so sweet. Seemed very well deserving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I didn't even think. So the three of you each watched the Oscars together.
Yes.
A little watch party. And I don't
And
know if,
Lizzie.
Logan, you would like to touch on something that happened.
What happened?
That happened during the show.
Well,
What happened?
unfortunately, we were experiencing some severe weather in some areas. And I'm not going to say, I'm surprised this is being brought up during the show. I'm not going to say which TV station it was, but while we were watching the Oscars, right before the Best Actress,
The one we were waiting for
the
all
one we were
night.
waiting
One
for
we were
all
waiting
night, the only
for.
one we really cared about, right before they announced it, the meteorologist cut in to talk about the severe weather, which really wasn't that severe. Whatever.
It's their job. It's their job. They have to.
Okay.
We have to defend them because we work with meteorologists too.
Sure. They cut in right when they were about to announce it.
Yes.
And they come on and cut in right before they're going to say it is. And we're like, no! And I'm not going to scream because I don't want to, like, overmodulate the thing. But I was like, no! And I was like, are you kidding me? And then I, though, felt like a hypocrite because whenever we have to do that, I get so mad when viewers call in. They're like, why are you guys getting into, like the Pacers final or whatever? Like, get off the air. And when there's severe weather, because we have to. But yeah, I was like screaming at the TV and I was like, get off the TV. I want to see who won it. And then it comes back on and she's in the middle of her accepting her award. But we were like, yes. But yeah, I was pretty peeved because I really wanted to see her acceptance speech. But luckily I was able to watch it afterward.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
But yeah, in the moment, I was
Yeah.
pretty hot.
Because
Because
half
I was
the
like,
fun
"Come
of
on."
watching the award ceremonies is seeing everybody's reactions, seeing people support each other and get all emotional. And, like, on the one hand, it's a surface level thing, but on the other hand, like, they work really hard to get these accolades and get this recognition for these roles that they're, like, representing, making people feel seen in the world. So
Yeah, but I was super happy for her, and we were all super excited. But yeah, we were all like screaming at the TV. I was like, no!
yeah,
I was like, get off the TV!
Lizzie was not sure what was going on. She was
Yeah,
trying to take a
Lizzie
little
was. Yeah, it was her bedtime. Lizzie's my dog, so.
Also, I was glad Jessie Buckley won it because last year, Demi Moore, like, swept everything except the Oscar. And I was shocked when she didn't win it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was even more shocked by who beat her out.
And then
Hot take, I was, like, really shocked by who beat her. And I won't go into all that, but
Yeah.
I really thought she should have won the Oscar. And so with this, I was very nervous something like that was going to happen. So I'm
Right.
really glad that Jessie Buckley also won the Oscar.
I probably wouldn't have shown up here today.
Yeah.
I would have shown up here today, but I would have been coming in hot.
Yeah.
Being like, I can't believe Jessie Buckley didn't win. So glad she won though. And what's it called? I forgot it on morning coffee too. What in the world? Come on. No, just kidding.
Oh no, Nicholas is texting me. I hope you didn't just hear what I said. No, just kidding. He's asking for more time.
Marty Supreme won 0 Oscars.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to bring up.
Walked
There's
away with
an article
0.
talking about some surprises. Some were surprised that Timothée Chalamet did not win Best Actor.
I'm not.
For
If you're up for an Academy Award, you probably shouldn't talk any trash.
Yeah, you probably
on
shouldn't mention
anything
the
about
other art.
any-
do you think? Are you talking about the Matthew McConaughey interview?
Yes.
Do you actually think that had?
Oh,
an effect?
for sure. Well, because a lot of his like ratings for it
Yeah.
started like steeply going down after that.
Really?
Because like that does impact because your like public view, I think really impacts the voting stuff.
And we Googled it while we were trusty Googled. We looked up while we were there to see like how close to the awards ceremony they vote, and they vote right up to the awards ceremony.
okay.
So
like
his
the week before.
yeah,
Also, it shows like their trajectory, and it was like this is Timothy Chalamet and this is Michael B. Jordan, and it was like this, and then when the ballet stuff and opera stuff happened, it was like they went like this, and all of a sudden like Michael B. Jordan was way ahead of Timothy Chalamet, which I think it also helped that he won the Actors Award, like Michael B. Jordan won that award, because Timothy I think won the Golden Globe. And so they were like winning different ones. But like Timothy had been winning most of them until Michael B. Jordan won the Actors Award.
it seemed like a very tough competition between those two.
But like I think after Timothy made those comments, it's pretty much like I think Michael B. Jordan's for sure gonna win it. Which not to say that I don't think Michael B. Jordan definitely deserved to win it, but I think after
that sounds
that,
pretty petty if that really was the reason why.
I mean, I definitely think it played a role in it though, because it wouldn't be the first time that like someone's comments impacted their run.
Yeah, I think it impacted it, but I think it's hard to say that that's the reason that he won because,
Yeah,
like you
I don't
said,
think
like
that's
I think
why
that
he
takes the
won,
credit
but-
away from the incredible performance. And obviously, Michael B. Jordan is who I was rooting for to get the award in the first place. But yeah, I'm sure several factors went into the.
You do have to
voting.
think of like the Academy is a business as well. So if they're going to award it to someone who made comments against the arts and they're an arts organization, people are going to be like, why would you give this? I mean, it's one of the big 4 awards. Why would you give it to someone who said something like that? So yeah, but I saw Mario Supreme. I liked it. I don't know if it was worthy of Best Actor. But I thought it was a very good movie. I was shocked it didn't win anything, but I thought it was a tough year for the Oscars. There are a lot of good movies this year. So maybe and I said this morning during morning coffee, but maybe in a different year where there weren't so many good movies out. Because there's some years where it's like there's one that really is going to sweep everything, but this year there was just so many good ones.
Yeah. I've been to the movies more in the last couple months than probably I had in the last 2 years.
Well, we had COVID, then we had the writers and actors strike, and we're kind of like starting to come out of that. So we're getting good stuff again.
Yeah. I was glad Michael B. Jordan won though. Also because he played 2 characters.
Yes.
Right.
Also he's playing twins, which I think that's like the most interesting thing when people play twins, because when you can so clearly tell who is who, I think that is so interesting.
Right.
So, and
Lindsay
I
Lohan
heard so
walks
much
and Michael
more
B.
about.
Jordan.
I heard so much more about like his performance and
I did,
Timothy's,
yes,
so
yeah.
I was glad that he won.
Yeah. Timothy Chalamet will be in so many more things.
Yeah, and like
he'll have time.
I'm sure Timothy's gonna be nominated for like 5 more and probably win one. And
Yes, his time will come.
yeah,
Or he'll be a Leonardo DiCaprio and he won't win one until he's 50.
yeah, that's possible.
We'll see. Have fun.
Maybe.
Time
So
will tell.
we were talking about this before the show. I assume nobody's on here has seen From Dusk Till Dawn. So I guess some of the other Oscars discourse I saw a lot leading up to it is that the movie's basically a ripoff. Sinners is basically a ripoff of From Dusk Till Dawn. I even gave a plot synopsis to Lydia, and she thought it was kind of similar.
Don't put words in my mouth.
I said kind of
Okay.
similar. Kind of similar.
Some parts happen to be in the same realm, the same concept for like 5 minutes. Like, not the same.
Well, all I know is this Forbes review seems pretty. That's not a good
It's
look.
brutal.
So the headline. This is a review from April 2025. It just says Sinners review From Dusk Till Dawn, and then the entire article is. I mean, skimming over the article, it doesn't seem like a 1-for-1 shot of the movie by any means, but definitely a lot of similarities. So take with that what you will. I guess this is the last thing kind of want to talk about. Did you guys have anything else kind of want to touch on about the Oscars? Or
It was a tie. That was fun.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was like the first time in a long time they'd had a tie.
It's kind of last thing is literally this morning. It's like as we're recording this, March 18th. It's just about 11 o'clock now, and this morning dropped a new trailer, or the first trailer for the new Spider-Man movie, Brand New Day. Showed a lot of interesting stuff. We watched it in here. I've seen it a few times this morning. I don't know how many times you watched it, Logan, but I I actually thought it was a really good first trailer. Now the movie comes out at the end of July, so it's only 4 months away. So I don't know what your guys' thoughts on it were.
Pretty excited.
Yeah.
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 How long has it been since the last one? It feels like a long time.
2021.
Yeah.
was the
Wow.
last time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch them all and do some
Yes.
deep dives on YouTube with all the lore
Mhm.
because I'm definitely not locked in like I was as a teenager. There's so many things now to pay attention to. So like just an overload of content, and it's hard for me to keep up with everything
That's
that's going
crazy.
on.
I was 20 when the last one.
Oh, wow. I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I think Tom Holland is my favorite Spider-Man.
He's my favorite.
Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
that's a hot take.
Okay.
They're all really good in their own ways.
They are. They're very
Yeah.
different,
Yeah.
but
I think he's
really
the
like.
best combo of the
Right.
two.
Yes,
Everybody
yeah.
says that Tobey Maguire is Peter Parker and Andrew Garfield is Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
And
He brings them
Yeah.
and then
together.
Tom
Yeah.
is,
Like a
the
good
combo.
combo.
Yeah. I'm excited to see it back.
So yeah, in the trailer, kind of some of the highlights, they showed John Bernthal's Frank Castle / Punisher, which is kind of just continuing the incorporation of all the 20th Century Fox stuff that Marvel bought a few years back. Now, the one thing that people are kind of going nuts for is, so in the trailer where they show this person, you only see her behind her back. I say her, everybody's assuming it's this character, but Sadie Sink is going to be in the movie. And there's a lot of speculation that it's going to be Jean Grey, kind of just including the X-Men in it officially. So I think that'd be very interesting. Obviously, she's a very powerful character. Not really the matchup you would kind of think, Spider-Man versus Jean Grey. But I think that'll be interesting. They show Scorpion, which we haven't seen since the first Tom Holland Spider-Man, very briefly at the end. And then kind of just continuing the storyline from the end of the last one where everybody forgets who Spider-Man is. And so Peter's kind of grappling with that. Obviously, MJ's no longer in his life, or none of his friends, family, everybody. So kind of just grappling with that. And then it also seems like the spider mutation that gave him his powers is kind of starting to cause some crazy things. And there's like one point where it shows him like in a cocoon and gives him like black eyes. There's also like a ninja clan he's
use
fighting.
it.
They honestly showed a lot in that trailer.
I was kind of trying to figure out like what
Yeah.
the plot was,
Mhm.
and it's really hard to kind of grasp who the enemy or what really is going to be going down. It seems like there's going to be quite a lot in this one film.
Which I guess kind of makes sense. I mean, this is kind of a new, essentially fresh slate for Spider-Man. And so, yeah, they're probably going to be, and it's arguably the most popular superhero there is. So, they're going to milk it and try to set up a bunch of movies down the line. And so,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. Do you guys have, of the Tom Holland ones, do you guys have a favorite movie?
I guess for me it would be the first one of Tom Holland's, just because I remember seeing that in the theater with my best friend, and I was like very against it at first. I was like, we don't need to do another version of Spider-Man. Like, why can't we just keep going with Andrew Garfield? So I was very stubborn about it, and I remember her saying, like, I will pay for your ticket and your popcorn and your drink. Just come see it with me, please. And she proved me wrong, and I loved it. And so just good memories from that.
Mine was the third one, just with them bringing all three Spider-Men together.
Yeah.
And then also I loved, like, Doc Ock was probably my favorite villain from the Spider-Man movies. And so having him in Tom Holland's, but then him not being, like, the villain, I thought that was very interesting. And then Green Goblin being in that movie, too. And then, like, showing more of, like, the spider sense in that movie. And then, obviously, that movie had, like, everything with Aunt May and things like that. And the iconic quotes and just... I remember in the theater, like, when they're like, show me Peter Parker, like, find me Peter Parker. And then as soon as he shows up, you can tell it's not Tom Holland because he's way too tall. And then it was Andrew Garfield, and he takes the mask off, and everyone in the theater was like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like it was the first movie since Avengers where people were feeling the old, like, nostalgic Marvel feeling that you used to get in the theater. And I think this movie will sort of be like that. But that one was probably my favorite of the three. But this one looks really good because... I feel like this one, maybe he's going to get, like, his, like, organic webbing, too, because, like, before now he's been making his own, and it seems like maybe in this one he's going to, like, finally have his own.
Yeah.
Because in the last one, they sort of hinted a little bit because when he met the other ones, they were talking about like their webbing and stuff. And he was like, "Oh, like you have your own," and then in this one, it seems like maybe he's gonna have some changes going on where he might have his own.
Yeah, which is funny because as a kid, I just thought that was how Spider-Man was, and then Andrew Garfield uses like the machine or whatever, and it turns out that's actually that's what he does in the comics, which kind of just shows off Peter Parker's just like that he's really smart. So I thought it was interesting. Do you have a favorite one?
I kind of remember the same like thing and being in the theaters and when they bring in the other Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I went with my parents and my brother, and everyone was just like freaking out. And then when they opened the other, like, I don't know if the terminology is right, but like the other portal, and then it's Tobey Maguire. I think he was the second one to walk through, and then everyone was like freaking out again. Like that was just such a fun experience because everyone kind of assumed, kind of thought there are kind of some spoilers out there that they were going to show up in the movie, but to actually see them and be like, no way, they actually did it. It was really crazy.
To the third act of the movie. It wasn't just like a 2-second.
Right. Yeah. They were really in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really fun for the whole theater to just like freak out over that.
Also, when MJ like fell and then Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man like jumped and caught her, I remember everyone screaming in the theater, and that was just such a good like payoff from like
Gwen
their talk before and him being like, she was like my MJ, and he was able to save her like in this universe but not on his own. Like that just like ripped my heart out. So I loved that too. Because I was obviously like, I remember that, like being a teenager and seeing that movie and being like,
that was
what?
Tore me apart.
Devastating.
Yeah, because I didn't think that would ever happen. And I was like,
I'm still like always on edge watching these Spider-Man movies, and I'm like, oh no, is it gonna happen?
I know. Also, it'll be interesting to see this movie because now, obviously, knowing like with Zendaya and Tom Holland, like they're apparently married now.
Apparently.
But it'll just be interesting to like see their dynamic and stuff on screen, which obviously they're actors. But just knowing that, like, I'm excited to see these moves. It seems like MJ's got a new man too, so we'll see how Peter
Flash Thompson
handles that. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, and that'll be interesting too. Or no, never mind, because everybody forgets who Spider-Man is. I was gonna say because Flash, hates Peter but loves Spider-Man, and learns it obviously in the third movie. I think for me it's tough between the third and the second one because, like you said, all the cameos, even the villains too. Like Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, is incredible. Willem Dafoe is, in my opinion, one of the best actors of all time, and his Green Goblin is fantastic. I really love what they do with Mysterio, though, in the second one. Especially, like, in the second act where it looks like Spider-Man gets defeated and there's that whole scene in the construction building. Just beautiful. I mean, it just looks incredible. And, Jake Gyllenhaal is obviously a fantastic actor, too. Looking at the Rotten Tomatoes here, we'll give you guys a little trivia.
Ooh.
So all three of these Tom Holland Spider-Man movies have Rotten Tomato scores, the critic review, in the 90s. Okay. They're all in the 90s. Which one do you think is the highest? We'll go around. We'll go around.
I'll say 3.
I'll go 1.
Okay.
I'll say 2.
Okay.
I like how you just all did different.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man: Homecoming, the first one, has a 92.
Okay.
On Rotten Tomatoes, 87 audience score. Far From Home, the second one, has a 91 on Rotten Tomatoes. 95 audience score.
Oh, wow. That jumped up a lot.
Yes. And then the third one has a 93 on Rotten Tomatoes. A 97 audience score.
Wow.
So
that's not shocking,
that one is
though.
crazy.
Yeah. No, that movie was super good. I have a funny story with that one. I was watching it. I was still in college. Watched it in a theater in Muncie. Went with some friends, and there was a bat. There was a bat flying around the movie, like basically the whole time. I didn't care, but I was with my friend, his now wife, was like freaking out, absolutely freaking out, and like actually went and like talked to an employee, and I kind of thought like it ain't that bad. It ain't like it's flying on us because of the bat flying around. They gave everybody a free movie ticket, like to use at a later date. Everybody.
But you got to stay in there and watch the rest of it that day.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The funny part though is that I used that free movie ticket to watch Robert Pattinson's The Batman.
Oh,
So,
As you,
yes,
you have
which
to.
was
yeah.
a fantastic movie in its own right.
talk about a 4D experience.
Yes,
with that flying
seriously.
yeah.
around.
So no, that was really funny. I'm trying to find Rotten Tomatoes is being weird here. I'm trying to see what the scores are for the
When
Tobey
I saw No Way
Maguires.
Home, my sister Reagan fell asleep during the whole sequence where the
That's
Green Goblin like goes
crazy.
bad and kills May and stuff.
Ooh.
And then she woke up and she was like, "What did I miss?" And I was like, "There's too much for me to explain to you."
You just
Like,
gonna have to watch it again.
I was just like, "May's dead," and she was like, "What?" I was like,
How do you?
and I was like, "It happens in every like Spider-Man movie."
Yeah.
I don't know. And yeah, she just fell asleep.
Aw.
Dang.
I was like, "How'd you fall asleep during that moment?"
It happens in every Spider-Man movie. Always devastating though.
Yeah.
Always
As soon as she
so
said the quote,
sad.
I was like, "She's toast. She's not making
Yeah.
it."
Aunt May was so good in these.
Yeah.
Mhm. The Tobey Maguire trilogy, I think everybody would expect Spider-Man 3 to be last on the critic and audience scores. It has a 62 critic, 51
Hmm.
audience. It's definitely memeable. I mean,
Yeah.
Bully Maguire is super funny when when the symbiote's like really starting to take over and does like the hair thing, covering his eye. And, yeah, it's funny. We'll do a little trivia here. Which one do you guys think between Spider-Man 1 and 2 has the higher score?
Overall,
Yeah.
between those two.
Yeah, just the critic. They're both in the 90s as well.
I mean, I would say Andrew Garfield's version. I don't
No,
know.
I mean Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2.
I'm
Between
sorry.
Spider-Man.
Okay,
the
yeah, you
first
guys-
two Tobey Maguire movies.
I'm
Oh,
going
okay.
with one again.
Okay.
I was thinking one as well.
Yeah, I guess one. I
It's the
don't remember
OG.
hardly anything from
Alright.
those, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
You should rewatch them.
Well, I was
I-
saying,
I
yeah,
will.
that's sad. The first one might even be more memeable because Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin is
It's
my
so
Him,
good.
It is-
him cutting the.
Yeah.
It's so
Um,
fun.
Yeah, he's fantastic. So the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man has a 90, a 67 audience score. I'm very
Really?
surprised by that. I'm
That
very,
is
very surprised.
surprising.
And then Spider-Man 2 has a 93 critic score and
Wow.
an 82 audience.
You know what?
I need to watch those movies again. I love.
Now
movies
that I
like
think
those.
about it, I would say I probably like the second one better.
Oh, the second one is objectively better.
yeah.
And
Now
the-
that I'm
and-
like,
Because the first one's definitely a
Taking a
little
beat.
campy. The CGI
Yeah.
is not. Watching it now, the CGI isn't quite as good as the second one, and definitely is a
Yeah.
little dated in some ways. But I don't know. Willem Dafoe is just so iconic.
I know.
He is just,
when I think of Spider-Man, though, my brain goes to that first one.
Yeah, I mean,
Immediately.
I don't think there could be a better Norman Osborn if people tried. And yeah, like I said, it is a little more on the campy side.
Yeah.
Not quite like Adam West Batman levels, but
Because the second, that one's the one with Doc Ock, right?
Mhm, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That one
I
is
just
really
love-
good.
yeah,
That
and-
does actually make more sense.
Mhm. And then the third one just shoves too much into it. Venom, Sandman, uh,
oh, gosh.
Harry being the new Goblin, Emo
Yeah.
Pete.
James
Yeah,
Franco.
there's just too
There's
there's
a
too
lot
much.
of James- Yeah, baby James Franco
Yeah.
on those.
Yes.
I will
Oh
always
my
remember
goodness.
from those movies, one, the scenes where he's delivering the pizza
Oh, yeah.
and he's like getting it with his wives. And then also the train scene where like all the people are like passing him through their train.
Mhm.
Like
And he's got his
pictures and
mask
everything.
off, but they're
yeah.
like, yeah, we won't tell.
Yeah, and they
"Yeah,
like
he's just
no
a kid."
one takes pictures of him or anything. They're like, yeah, he's just a kid. Like
well,
his
that's
suit's
because
all
it
ripped
came
and
out in the
stuff.
early 2000s.
I was going to say, that would never happen today.
Yeah.
Someone would be live streaming it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yo, Peter Parker's out here. He's
Right.
What was it, like 2003 or something like that?
So the first Spider-Man came out in 2002. Spider-Man 2 came
So
out in
good.
2004.
He's 1 year old.
So
You're
Yeah.
babies. You're only like, what, 15?
That is so mean. That is so mean.
You're like, what, 5?
6.
You're a baby too.
Yeah. That's why I remember them so well, because I was the perfect age, me and my brother. We watched these movies, the first set of Spider-Man movies,
Mhm.
a lot.
I need to watch them again. I haven't seen those ones in so long.
Yeah, I really want to watch. I might, my weekend coming up, just started my week, but my weekend coming up, I might watch the Tom Holland ones. This has inspired me.
I'm
Definitely.
excited for this one because also Bruce Banner is in this movie,
Mhm.
Yes.
and he's just himself.
Or yeah, we were talking about that
So,
before. Yeah, the last like 2 or
yeah.
3 appearances has been what they call Professor Hulk, where he's got the
Yeah.
Hulk body, but
So-
completely intact mentally.
Yeah,
Um,
so I'm interested to see like what those ramifications will be for Doomsday,
Mhm.
and like what will happen in this one with like Sadie Sink's character when they finally like reveal who she is
Yeah.
and stuff, and
Yeah.
what she'll do
Yeah.
in Doomsday. Because
I mean, everything that they're putting out up till Doomsday is leading up to Doomsday.
yeah,
I mean, at the end of Fantastic Four, no spoilers, but spoilers, there was like a post-credit scene that was Doomsday related. So everything is leading up to Doomsday. So there will definitely be, we need to have like a keen eye for connections to Doomsday.
yeah, especially if she's Jean Grey, or
Mhm.
because they've been trying to find ways to incorporate the X-Men
Yeah.
into these.
Yeah.
So that could be a.
I thought the Fantastic
gateway
Four
there.
would have been an easy way to do that, but
Yeah. Well, maybe third time's the charm for Dark Phoenix. I mean, they've tried doing that twice now. I haven't even seen the second one. I just heard it was so bad I wasn't going to waste my time on it.
And do you know that Harry Styles was a part of the Marvel universe?
Yes, he's in the end credit scene.
And
of
guess
the
what?
Eternals.
And that movie
And
was
he-
not that as bad as people make Eternals out to be.
Yeah.
Oh,
It wasn't
I will
that
give them credit. It's a
horrible.
very different vibe
Yeah.
than like a lot of Marvel, but I was
They-
not a fan of
we're
it.
missing
It
out.
wasn't
We're
horrible like people
missing
made it
out
We
on
could've
a
got
Harry Styles Marvel movie.
Well,
Oh my
you know who
goodness.
he's supposed to play, right?
Yeah, the name is escaping me.
Arrows.
But yeah,
Thanos' brother.
He's supposed to be Thanos' brother.
yeah.
And he looks like a singer.
No, he
Like,
looks
look.
gorgeous.
He's supposed to be.
and he's
hot
so
Titan.
silly.
His
so
sister in the
silly.
comics is a little crazy though, so I was sort of interested to see how they were
Yes.
gonna like make that happen.
I'm still waiting
And
for
he's
the.
been so integral.
I'm still waiting for the Howard the Duck movie. He's been in I think every Guardians of the Galaxy movie, like a very brief cameo, and I watched the '80s one. Funny enough, I believe it was directed by George Lucas, but it is very weird, to say the least. Have you guys ever seen Howard the Duck?
No.
Yeah, it's I'll pull it up and give
It
you.
looks weird. I'm looking at the.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
it's.
Oh, I've seen that poster before.
Or did George Lucas do something? Never mind. I thought he did.
It's crazy to think George Lucas does anything.
Oh no, he
else.
did. He was executive director,
Oh, okay.
producer. So as we talked about a few episodes ago, executive
Yeah.
anything in movies means you basically slap your name on it. And
Give some money.
yeah, yeah. What are some of the? Actually, I need to be careful with actually pulling up some images on here. So well,
Google it yourself.
yeah. Well, it's campy and weird, but yeah. Obviously, Marvel could do so many different things. So.
Mm-hmm. Bring back Harry Styles.
Or like you were talking about before we
please.
started, that I mean these end credit scenes, not that maybe people care anymore, but
Mhm.
obviously that's kind of going out on a limb a little bit, saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
we're going to try to do this stuff," and really haven't. So
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean they're buying stuff like Marvel,
Mhm.
Disney. They're buying stuff. They're losing stuff, and
Yeah.
or like projects aren't working out. So it is kind of risky to make these end credit scenes and kind of give not a promise, but like a little sneak peek of what they're planning, because a lot of them haven't really been panning out.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it is interesting to see
Mhm.
what they're like. Yeah, we'll tease you with this, and
well, especially
see.
because I don't know. Not only did not all of them pan out, but then it just seems like every single movie has one.
oh
It
yeah,
almost just seems stale. Like the one I think was kind of the breaking point for me, and I thought the scene was awesome, but they just haven't done anything with it. Is the end of Solo, the Star
didn't
Wars
see.
movie?
okay, yeah.
It's like the Han Solo backstory, like him
Oh
in his younger
yeah,
days or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And they
I
tease
don't remember
Maul.
what-
It's the first time we've seen live action Maul since episode 1, and it's voiced
Oh.
by Sam Witwer, who does the voice acting for Maul in the Clone Wars and Rebels, and is
Mhm.
absolutely fantastic in that role. And they haven't done anything with it since. There is on Disney
Devastating.
Plus an animated Darth Maul coming out, but
Oh.
they haven't done anything live action with him since. So yeah, it just seems like they throw it in for a minute at the end of the movie. I don't know.
Hmm.
They were cool at first, but I think they kind of
Yeah.
a little stale.
And there's like apps now that tell you if there's
Mhm.
in credit scene or
Huh,
not.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. They tell you like when the movie's dull and you can like get up and go to the bathroom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah, there's I don't remember what the
That's
app
kinda
is
crazy.
called, but yeah, I'd have to look it up. But
Yeah. I just remember it was always funny, like in high school, when like middle-aged people or old people would go to a Marvel movie and then just leave, like as soon as the credits start rolling. It's like,
Okay.
you guys,
You
don't
guys
even know. You guys
stay.
don't even know.
No.
stay.
Like,
You
you don't
guys-
know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I'm right there with you.
Now I think if you go to a Marvel movie, like you have to stay. Everyone
Yeah.
sits
Mhm.
through the credits.
Oh my goodness, I remember being so afraid of spoilers during that. And I remember our calculus teacher, Mr. Mack, he like hadn't seen the movie for a while, and we were in his class, and the movie had come out like that Saturday or something, and he was like, if any of you say any spoilers about the movie, we're taking a quiz today. And I was like, I don't want to hear any spoilers about the movie. He was like, seriously, don't say anything. And so then
It's
we
rough.
were all like so afraid to say anything.
Yeah.
And I was so afraid of spoilers because everyone had been saying they were afraid like Captain America or Iron Man were going to die. And then, hey, why not have both?
Hey.
Why not get a
Yeah.
2-for-1?
You know
You
what?
know?
This is your spoiler warning. The movie's been out for
The movie's been out for like,
ever.
how long?
A long time.
Yeah, no spoilers are safe on this show.
Yeah.
No, if you're watching this show,
But yeah,
you gotta be more knowledgeable than
also,
us.
I'm like, I wonder, because when does Doomsday come out? Later this year, right?
That's
Well,
a
yeah, because
fabulous
they've been.
question.
It's either this year or early next year because they've been showing those tiny little trailers of the original four, like Thor, Captain America. So
Mhm.
Thor has a daughter now, apparently.
Well,
Who knows what Cap's doing or what timeline he's in? Hard to keep track of it now, but
is he Gonzo?
well, that's the point. They're
December
bringing them all
18th.
back because money.
Oh. Well, and bringing it back to the Oscars, Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans
Mhm.
presented an award together.
Mm-hmm.
That was a
Definitely
little
Definitely not a
doomsday.
coincidence.
Yes, they definitely bring actors who have movies coming out. They had Robert Pattinson and Zendaya present an award together, but yeah, they
Nice.
had them present an award together. A little Marvel reunion. They mentioned it was their anniversary of when they met or something.
Nice.
So yeah,
So I saw a theory for Doomsday, which I don't know how true this is, but I was talking to Mikey about it because Michael Price, who works here, he's like a big X-Men and Marvel nerd.
need to
So he
have
needs
him
to come
on.
on before Doomsday to like give us a little 411 about the
Yeah.
movie. But he was saying that Doomsday, which a lot of people think, like when Captain America sees like the guy Doomsday, I forget what the guy's name is, like the doctor or whatever, that he's gonna think it's Iron Man first, or that it's him, like Stark, and that he's gonna be
Oh.
confused, and then he's gonna like attack him or whatever, and he's gonna know it's not him. But Mikey was saying that I guess in the comics, part of the reason that they all get sort of brought together is because Doomsday is trying to like get kids of like superheroes and like take their powers and like test them and stuff, and that's sort of what his like goal is. Because that would explain why he took Franklin, and then I guess that people think that like Captain America is gonna have a kid in his new timeline with Peggy, and that Doomsday's gonna go and kidnap his
Okay.
kid and take him, and that's why they're gonna like all come together
And we already know
to get the kids back.
Pepper and Tony Stark have a kid together.
Yeah.
She's already made
So I don't
appearances in
know.
movies.
I don't know if that'll be like
That's
what's going on or
interesting.
what, but
Well,
that's what
hopefully,
Michael's
like
theory
Jean
was.
Grey, whenever they do that again, hopefully they do Doctor Doom right because he is probably like, objectively one of the coolest villains
I mean,
Marvel has.
Being played by Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. Like
Would hope so. I mean,
I
Which a
feel
lot of
like if
people
you're
Tony,
being
really like
played,
Tony Stark
very-
and Victor Von Doom are two very different
yes,
characters.
but I feel like if
Yeah.
you're being, I feel like if I keep calling him Tony Stark. I feel like if Robert Downey Jr. has his hand in it,
Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna do it.
I would hope so.
Good.
Which a lot of
yeah.
people were really like upset about that
I
when he came
know.
out because they were like, let Tony Stark be dead, like whatever. Like you don't need Robert Downey Jr. to play like Doctor Doom. But like it is interesting with the whole like multiverse thing. Like what if
Yeah.
this guy was in
And if
another
he's wearing
universe and he was
a
Dr. Doom?
mask, a helmet most of the time, like who cares?
Yeah.
I almost wish that they would have left it for the movie and that he would have taken his mask off and it would have been him. But I understand why they want people to know it's him ahead of time.
Yeah.
So people will watch it.
Yeah. And spoilers
Yeah,
and
and
things
yeah,
like
money,
that. Yeah.
Like, I just,
I mean,
it
yeah,
wasn't
like,
such a
let's
good
be
reveal.
honest. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure Robert Downey Jr. is making a pretty penny from this.
Oh,
But I'm sure he's also making sure it's done right.
Mhm.
hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much all the time we have for today. Thank you
Perfect
guys
timing.
for joining another episode of Watching with Wayne. Do you have to get out of here?
I do, but
Okay,
I have
yeah.
I have a couple minutes.
Perfect. Yeah. So for Logan, Lydia, Hannah, and myself, thank you for tuning in to another episode, and we will see you next time.
This is Watching with Wayne.